Today I'm going to show you guys how to make a steam room in Oxygen Not Included. Real quick, I want to tell you that I'm not going to be making an optimal one or a 100% efficient one. This is just for fun, and I like to mess around with these things. I feel like when it comes to steam rooms in Oxygen Not Included, they're often made to sound like they're super hard to make and stuff like that. The super optimal ones are, but these ones are just quite fun. So I'm going to be using sandbox mode for this to make it a little bit easier. So pretty much what a steam room is going to be is a room with steam that's blocked off using liquid locks. And at the top of the steam room, you're going to have steam turbines. In the steam room, you're going to have machines that are very hot, for example. So for example, you could have a polymer press in the steam room. And I'm using, I used a couple of things in here just for testing things out. This is kind of like a tester steam room, but the most important thing is you want to create a room that has steam, have steam turbines on top of a steam room, and that you have steam only in the steam room. Just two quick things I want to mention is that the steam turbine is going to overheat if it doesn't have a cooling loop behind it. So you're going to need a cooling loop, which I have coming from over in my aqua tutor area. And I actually have to make sure that the water coming in is cold enough. Yeah, it's okay. It's about 13 degrees. That should be enough to keep the steam turbine cool enough. But because it's in a vacuum, put some petroleum on the ground just to make sure that the heat transfer happens. Because if it's in a vacuum, it's like putting the machine in space. It'll eventually just overheat and it will never cool down. And I've used a gas pump to pump out the gas to make a vacuum. And here I have just used the sandbox mode. So let's get started. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is just because of the way I'm doing this, I want to say that we are going to be using this as our vacuum area. And we're just going to have to pretend that there is a way in. I don't want to ruin this, you see, and I'm going to be going back to a different save file once I'm done. We're just going to be making a liquid lock here, for example, maybe one or two over to the left. And we're going to make a liquid lock over here just to have this area locked in. And then we're going to have a ladder that goes down here in order to be able to get into the steam room. Now, I want to show you the fun part quickly, and then we can worry about the in quotes optimization afterwards. The most important thing you want to do to make a steam room is you're going to use the abyssalite that is 1300 degrees Celsius, and you're going to pour water on it. You could put polluted water on it as well. It doesn't have to be just water. So what we're going to do real quick is we're actually going to give our dupes something to do without sandbox mode for a second, just to give them a little bit of work. And in order to do that, we're going to need to destroy this just so they can get in. It's going to ruin my steam room a little bit, but it's fine. I'll go back to another save. And then we want to put this pipe across. Oh, I use petroleum for my liquid locks as well here because everything is going to be very hot. And then I like to put my liquid vent right in the middle. And we are going to be using mesh tiles in the actual room itself. And the reason why we're using mesh tiles is so that we can put buildings on here like the polymer press. You can just leave this completely open if you like. And pretty much what we're looking to do here is we want water to come in and drip onto the hard abyssalite. Now, you're going to need spacesuits for this. There's no way you're going to be able to do this without exosuits because it's too hot down here for your dupes. As you can see, steam is starting to get in here. As I mentioned already, this is supposed to be a vacuum. It's probably a very bad idea to allow steam in here, but I'm just doing this for the fun. I'm going to be reverting back to the save before I start this in a minute. So I'm just going to let my dupes get that set up. And while they're getting that set up, I'm going to go back to sandbox mode because I don't actually have enough for another steam turbine. The goal for me is, in particular over here, I'm going to have like 4 steam turbines across the top. So let's see how many we can fit here. We can fit 1, 2. Let's actually put a gap here real quick. We'll leave it at 2 actually, because that's nice and spaced out. So we'll leave it at 2 steam turbines, and let's get it plugged in as well. I like to use my main line for this. And that's plugged in. And then we also need a way for the water to come out of the steam turbines and into the steam room. Now, I usually use this method, but of course you might end up with some flow issues. So if you end up with some flow issues, be careful. For example, these 2 greens are probably going to stop the flow getting in because it's going to confuse the system. If that happens, you can add bridges. Obviously, you're not going to be making it as willy-nilly as this, and you could just put liquid vents from the steam turbines straight into the room. Now, because of the fact that these guys are taking so long, maybe this guy will... Yeah, so this is an unreachable build. So what we're going to do is we're going to cancel this build, and we're going to cancel this build. We're actually just going to build it ourselves so that we don't have to wait any longer. And we are actually going to also snip this here so that this water comes in this way. Now, let's get this started. So the water is going to drip down. I'm going to use Destroy for this, but you're going to want to use the dig tool in reality. We're going to get rid of these blocks, and this block is only 32 degrees Celsius. We're going to destroy this one as well. We're going to dig this one as well. This block is also only 32 degrees Celsius. We're going to hit this one as well, and there's our steam. Our steam has started. Now, if you find that the granite is taking a lot of the heat away, the best thing to do is to get rid of all of that granite. In fact, because of the fact that they're going to take so long to do this, we're going to do it ourselves. This granite is going to steal some of that heat that we want to turn this steam pretty hot, and it's going to transfer it elsewhere. So we just want to get rid of all of this. And as you can see, the area is already starting to steam up. Let's just remove a little bit more of this. Now, if you are finding that you are producing enough steam, then that's fine. But if you're getting like a pooling effect over here and the abyss light is only 32 degrees, dig that as well until you get down to the 1300s. So it's 32 here as well. Watch how much steam we're about to produce. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm actually surprised more steam. Oh, there's a 32 here. That's why there's 2 32s here. We need to destroy these 2 as well. And now we should get lots of steam. Hello? Why is that not working? Another 32 here. Okay, fine. Sometimes you have to really go down. I wouldn't recommend going all the way down to the lava. Just 1 block away from the lava is fine. Because if you actually go down to the lava, you could end up with some issues. I'd recommend using the abyss light that's next to the hot lava. Right, so we have some 32 degrees down here as well. 32, 32. And then we have 1300 and 32 here. So let's get the 2 of these down to the 1300, and then we want to get the top 3 of these down to 1300 as well. Pretty much any block that the water is hitting, we want it to be 1300 degrees so that it automatically hits the water and turns it into steam. And as soon as this area starts to get to 125 degrees Celsius, we're finally going to have enough steam to get these turbines going. And the room is already hot enough, as I mentioned already, to start putting some of your refinement in here as well. That's a new way to make liquid lux, I guess. Use steam. Cool down steam in an area like up here, and that's it. Actually, I can make this a little bit more efficient, but it'll be cheaty if I block this block off once the dupes are done. You know what? Let's do that. I'm going to cancel this job. They're both going to go over there. I'm going to go back onto sandbox mode. Like, this whole build has been cheaty, so I wouldn't really worry too much about it. But yeah, we're actually, after putting that block there, and now it's way better. So it's getting up to the temperature we're looking for, but we just still have so many blocks down here that are 32 degrees. Let's get rid of these 2 lines of blocks and let's have a look. 1300. They're all over 1000. Brilliant. Any more 32-degree blocks? I think we got them all now, and because we got them all, we should see these steam turbines turning on in a moment. Oh, we have some 30s here. Let's get rid of this little square here. Now, when you're making these steam rooms, I wouldn't recommend using the sandbox mode. Try and play the game a bit more in quotes legit. Otherwise, you won't learn what you're doing. The reason why I'm using sandbox mode is just because when you're making a video, it's very hard to make the video quickly with how slow the dupes can work sometimes. I would recommend being very, very careful doing anything that requires petroleum in your steam room. And I would also say probably only do the metal refinery in your steam room if you actually know what you're doing. Be very, very careful not to put petroleum into this steam room. Like if the petroleum bursts out of the pipes, for example, and leaks onto this, it's going to ruin the whole thing. If you are kind of beginner-ish like me, I would say just use the steam room for maybe just the polymer press, maybe just ignore the polymer press, maybe just use steam turbines for that extra bit of energy, because these are going to delete the heat, as I mentioned already, but they're also going to produce you energy. Energy-wise, how much do they actually produce? 850 watts each, and they don't take any maintenance apart from the cooling loop I mentioned before. So if you have like 4 of these lined up, that's a lot of energy, and it's very easy to do this. One last thing I'll tell you, by the way, is try not to leave your liquid vent constantly pouring water in here. Maybe either keep an eye on it and turn it off sometimes, or maybe automate it to turn off, because you don't want water constantly pouring onto the abyss light below. So thank you very much for watching today's video. Let me know if you have any questions for me. Let me know if there's anything I didn't cover for you, and let me know if there's anything else you want me to show you. I hope you have fun with the steam rooms in this game. They can be quite fun, and I hope you make some pretty cool builds. And don't forget, keep experimenting and only push yourself to learn new things, because it's one of those games where you can't, even if you do something wrong, you could just reload. So best of luck with this. Thank you very much for watching one last time, and have a nice day.